Hi guys, and welcome back to the Fermented World channel. Please excuse the mess. I couldn't be bothered to clear it all up, but I needed to brew a beer. Sun's shining, most people are out cutting the grass. I'm brewing beer. Sod the grass, it'll still be there tomorrow. So will this beer kit, but that doesn't mean I'm one step closer to drinking lovely beer. Anywho, less jabber. I'm brewing a RIPA. A Rye IPA, so it uses rye malt as well as other malts in there. There's 3 different types of malt and there's an adjunct as well. I'm not going to tell you what they are because this isn't my recipe. I've had to pay for this to be able to use it. If you want to do this beer, go to brewed.co.uk and you can buy one of their kits. They've got hundreds of them. Seriously, I say hundreds, there's not hundreds, there's loads though. Every single one that I've done has been absolutely banging. They even got a couple of collaborations with breweries and they're just tip top, I'm telling you. Everything you need in one package in kit. So we've got the grain ready crushed, but I will be crushing it again, as I always do. Although this does look a lot finer crushed, to be fair, but I can still see a couple of the grains in there that are going to have the sugar, well, the malt that we want to convert to sugar. We've got packet hop 1, which has got Citra, Columbus and Nelson Sauvin. We're using Safale US 05 again. It seems to be quite a popular yeast. We've got a list of destructions. Once you've purchased this, you'll have it forever, you know, so you can just rebrew it. Even then go from brewing it and then add your own things, change a couple of things here and see what the difference is. That's what I plan to do. So I'm getting my head around all these different styles of beer, which all seem to be very, very similar. Now the only difference with this one is there's no actual boil for the hops. Sorry, there is a boil. Obviously, you do your hours boil just to like kind of sterilize everything and whatnot. And then yeah, there's just a hop stand at the end. And then a dry hop, which will be 4 days later. So this Safale or Safale seems to be like an absolute powerhouse when it comes to yeast. So I may look into buying some of this. So this one packet can do 20 to 30 litres of beer. So do I risk only putting half the pack in and save half the pack? Because we're only doing 11 litres. And this can do up to 30. I don't think so. I think we'll just brew it. Again, just in case the microphone cut out. So first of all, we need to measure out the water for the strike water. I do a 11 litre strike water and a 4 litre sparge. That's what gives me the perfect amount after an hour's boil. It gives me as near as damn it the 11.5 litres that I need. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But that's what we're going for. So I'm going to fill this up. I'm going to do this all in speedy. And I just put some captions in as to what I'm doing. So it doesn't take 5 hours for you to sit and watch this video. All grain brewing does take a long time. You have to pretty much dedicate a day to it. You can't just tottle off for 3 hours and go do something else. You get about an hour's gap or mashing. You see, I wouldn't leave it boiling, to be fair. That'd be very silly to do, to go out. But while it's mashing, you can just bugger off out. I normally take the DOG for a WALK, and I have to say it like that, otherwise he'll be right behind me thinking he's going OUT. So let's get some water measured out and let's get this brew on the go. Whew. So that's at the end of a very busy brew day. I started this at about 10:30 this morning. It is now 10 to 4. So yeah, it takes a bit of this and a bit of that. So this had a 1 hour boil, but then it had a 30-minute hop stand at the end. So that adds to it. Cooling it down, that adds to it. I did have to pop out because my daughter needed something for her medical condition. So I had to go to the school and drop that off. But all in all, it worked out okay. So we're going to take a hydrometer reading to see what we have got. Then we're going to match it up to what it says on the instructions. And going on that, we will either add water or add sugar. We can't remove any more water because I don't particularly want to boil anymore. So let's have a butcher's at what we have got. I mean, I've not seen one this colour before. It's really dark. Now, I think rye ales seem to turn out a little bit red. I don't know why I think that. Bloody hell. Going all over the bloody place. So, predicted beginning gravity is 58. And we're at 60. but we've got just under the 11.5 litres. Now you're going to lose a litre. What's the predicted ABV? 6.2. So I'm going to dilute this and add a bit of brewing sugar. Now I did notice the bag after sparging, it was still very sticky, like there was still loads of sugars in there, so I don't know whether my sparge wasn't all that good. Normally it's okay. It has given us a start gravity of what we expect, but there's just not the right amount of volume in there. So I'm going to add a bit of water and then we'll check it again. After adding the water, we'll double check, see what the gravity is. And then we'll go from there as to whether we're going to add any more sugar. Water first, then sugar, because we want the volume we're supposed to have. That's about 1.5 litres there, and we only really need just over half a litre. So let's not overshoot the mark. That's just over half a litre, probably 750 ml to be fair. But in that goes. And then we're going to give that a good mix. We've got to add oxygen to this anyway, as the yeast needs the oxygen to start a colony. We may not even need to add anything. I mean, that's definitely it's just over the half, 11.5 now. This is good. It's where I wanted it. So now we take another hydrometer reading. Now I've beaten loads of air into it. Always do it. Smells extremely hoppy, to say that there was no hot boil per se. I don't know, but I think that's bang on now. It is. Huh. 58, bang on the books. We've got well, I say exactly, now that it's resting still, we've actually got a little bit less, but I'm not really too bothered. We lose a litre, but then again, once I put this back in, it will be at the half, so yeah, I'm happy with that. 58. Okay, so yeah, now we pitch the yeast, check the temperature, we're at 22, it says to ferment at 21, 22 is my general heat in my kitchen, but I do put it down here, which is a little bit lower, and it goes between 20 and 21. Fluctuates with the heating and all that jazz. I've always got the heating on because I'm always brewing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottles of, well, gallons of mead brewing at the moment, so I need the heat there for them as well. And that's pretty much it. Brew day over. We're going to add the yeast, we're going to mix the yeast in, and happy days. Now these are the ones that don't tear, aren't they? I remember somebody saying about these, they just don't tear. You need skizzers. Now are my skizzers in my drawer? They are. Now, as always, I'm tempted to only use half of this, but I'm going to use all of it because that's what the recipe says, and yeah, it will just give us that head start. So yeah, this was Safe Ale or Saf Ale, US 05. And then we just mix that in, making sure every bit of it gets wet. And we're going to oxygenate at the same time. I've seen some people when they come to do this actually using a drill, which I've got a drill down there which I use for my grain thing. So what I need to do is get one of those wand things, mixing wand or whatever they're called, that they use. But then again, I splash it everywhere anyway, so imagine using one of them. Making sure that there's no real clumps or anything like that, all the yeast is broken up nicely. Nice bit of oxygen in there. And then we seal it up. We get the lid here. And then make sure it's all nice and clamped down. No air getting in or out of there. And then we put our clean air lock on there, like so. It's supposed to have a little hat. Why hasn't it got a hat? Do I have a hat? Do I have a spare hat? I don't believe I do. So, a British bottle cap will do, with a Union Jack on it. Even though I'm not patriotic, they were just cheap at the time. We're gonna label this up on top with the name of the beer so we know what it is, the date it was started so we can look back and calculate when 4 days will be, and what the final gravity was so that we can see at the end whether we've got the ABV that we should expect. It says 4 days to then check to see whether the gravity is as predicted. If it is, add the second hops, which is a dry hop. Allow the hops to make contact for 4 days. And then, yeah, add your... Alright, so it didn't provide any finings with this one. No, it didn't. A lot of the recipes from Brewed supplies, they produce a fining. What it says at the bottom is use your usual beer clearing process such as cold crashing, gelatin or isinglass. So I've got something which will help me, which you put in towards the end of the fermentation, called Beer Bright, sufficient to clear up 3 5-gallon brews. Well, we're not doing 5 gallons. This is probably what, 2 gallon? Yeah, 2 gallon, 4. No, it's less than 2 gallon. So yeah, we'll figure out however much we need to put of that in towards the end of the fermentation. Probably after we put the dry, probably when we put the dry hops in. That's when I'll add that, because there's no point opening it more than once. So until then, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you soon.